It is 8:18 on the morning of May 11, 2017 here in El Segundo, California at Loma Vista 100 Block and Binder Place 500 West. And right here in summer of 2015, I was looking at an apartment in this building, which would have put me right across the street from a woman I would be actually driving around here. A lady named Trudy from Germany. Had a car in there and she's moved out. I just got off the phone with Julie R. Hughes, who's selling this property for the woman. And what's going on is that I was driving Trudy around in the summer of 2015 because she had nobody to help her. My mother saw an ad in the local paper saying driver needed to go through, to doctor's appointments and things like that, dentist, and I remember her having a lot of trouble getting these things done for her mental illness that I'm told she has by this lady Julie, who says the woman had mental issues. She'd give me $40, I'd drive around and take her here and there, but I went in that house one day, there was lice and things crawling around on the tables from leaving things around too long. I don't know what to do about this, but just vent out and say I wish I would have helped the woman a little more because she needed help. And I'm learning from the lady here who knows the daughter of this woman that there were some mental health issues involved. And those mental health issues go on a lot with people. And we don't know why, but these are the reasons. These are sometimes the reasons why there's Franklin Avenue, that people call up or run an ad in the paper saying, need help. I need somebody to drive me around. And I was good enough to do that. My mother had done it once and said, oh, there's something wrong. The woman is acting strange. And I experienced that as well. I experienced the same thing that my mother experienced only a couple of months later. She used to give my mother $25. I asked for 40. We go all over West LA to doctors everywhere. But there's the house for sale now from a woman who I just got off the phone with, Julie R. Hughes. She's down in Orange County, California, and she expressed the fact that I said, whatever happened to this woman, Trudy? She says she passed away. She was mentally ill. And the daughter, Suzanne, will contact me. I left the number. But I'm looking at the house, and right away I could tell, I think there was something there in that house that kept her there for a long time. She spoke about going back to Germany. She had been a participant in a will or something, an heir to some riches, but she never made it back. And I don't know what to think of this whole thing, but one thing is the mystery that the woman drove around with me and my dog Frankie here one afternoon and told me a lot about herself. She said stuff like, I have people in Germany and they owe me money, but they're trying to keep me out of the ville and I need to get there. And she was a woman maybe of 70 by now, and that's maybe 72 now. And Julie told me that the woman was mentally ill. I never looked at her as mentally ill. I looked at her more like she was depressed, and sad. Now I'm looking at the windows there, and now I was just going to walk up to the place, and I could tell that the place is vacant because the windows, they've cleaned out the apartment, the house. And I gave up my phone number and email to Julie Hughes, who will get in touch with the daughter, and the daughter will tell me about what went on here, Definitely tell me what's going on, how the woman died. I never viewed her as being mentally ill. I never did. I looked at her more like, a woman who kept a car in that garage there and said, I have a car, But I looked at the car, it was some kind of gold car, a little red trim, but she never drove it because she couldn't drive anymore. I think she lost her ability to steer the vehicle. And had I moved into this apartment house right here in the summer of 2015, rather than the place up on Sheldon Street that I'm at now, I would have been across the street, her neighbor. I would have been right across the street here, been able to drive Trudy around. I would have gladly done it. and not complained about any money. Had I went into 120, right across the street from her. She's at 123 Loma Vista. I feel so sad that she's passed away. I often wondered about her, what happened to her, and spoke about her. Mom, I wonder whatever happened to that woman Trudy we used to drive around. And my mother would say, oh, Joseph, I don't know. She's just all irritable when I was driving her. And, you know, I said, my God, 123 Loma Vista, I will never forget. She never made it back to Germany. She never made it back where she was due some money from a will. Look at the sign falling down 123. She had to put a new one up. There's a car in that garage still. What's become of all this? What's going on? I must investigate this. I would have been her neighbor at 120. 123 to 120. And I keep backing up here because I'm looking at those windows. And finally, in the daylight, I could tell that the place was cleaned out. I could tell the windows are clear and there's nothing in there. There's no drapes. There's nothing that were there before. But the house was pretty much a mess when I was in there. That's what made me sad about it, that she was a lonely woman with nobody, and I could have given her some kind of love. Nothing romantic, but, you know. And this was the block where I would have lived in. Right here. How did we moved in, Frankie? Right by the refinery. Exxon, Chevron. One of these apartments here. On Loma Vista 120. And as I recapped this whole thing on the morning of the 11th of May 2017 at 8:25 a.m., I'm very saddened to find out that my friend Trudy has passed away and could have made it back to Germany to get that money that was due her. But I'm going to be waiting on the daughter, Suzanne, to tell me what's going on. You know, I'm going to be waiting on that phone call and the email, hollywoodjoe@usa.com, because I want to hear what happened to her. She had no friends in the world. She ran an ad in the local El Segundo newspaper saying, you know, driver needed to go local areas. Those local areas were quite a few miles away, but it was okay. And I said to myself, my God, this poor woman has nobody in the world to rely on. No relatives, nothing. And I've got to help her. My mother had helped her one time. And when my mother helped her, my mother reported back that the woman was only giving her $25 to do a little bit too much work. So I understood that. So I asked for 40. And it was even a lot of work for 40, you know what I mean? But like I say, according to Julie, the woman selling her house, the word is that this woman was mentally ill. I mean, we're all mentally ill, you know. We're all mentally ill in one way or another.